What's up, Digidestins? This is Kyle D, better known as Ridemyavatar, and today I'm going to go over my top 5 picks for BT-08 that are just amazing cards that either benefited decks that were in the meta that weren't really ready for being competitive, or even just brand new cards that just completely changed up playstyles and interesting mechanics. So let's dive into the video and talk about it. First card I want to talk about is none other than Shuvaman. Shuvaman really brought into an interesting mechanic into the game for green that gave them finally the answer they've kind of needed a long time. And that is, while your opponent's Digimon are suspended, your opponent can't attack, can't use options. Shutting off half the game is huge, in my opinion. And then when the Digimon unsuspends, if in the unsuspend phase, trash the top card of your opponent's security stack. Well, there's a lot of cards like that are like Digizorption. We have options that can rest our stuff to suspend their stuff. So it became a really interesting dynamic where it would just trash it without actually needing to attack, especially in those grindier matchups. Now you have Shuvaman that is really powerful, and I think if they continue with the side deck route, Shuvaman might become like this permanent. If we're going to have grindy matchups, Shuvaman's going to come in. We're going to just keep using Shuvaman to speed up our gameplay, because now that grindier matchup is always costing them too much for the benefit that they want it to be a grindier game. So I think in the long run, Shuvaman might become really, really awesome, especially if it becomes like a permanent side deck card for green. So, I mean, it's a very important to talk about it. Next, I'm going to talk about Black War Greymon. We haven't had a really successful Black War Greymon deck in forever, I gotta say. So when Digivolving, if there is a red card in this Digi Evolution, you may choose your opponent's Digimon. If there is a black card in this Digi Evolution, you may choose your opponent's Tamer. Delete any number of the chosen cards equal to play cost that adds up to 6 or less. So if your opponent has if you have a black source, you have 2, Digimon Tamers on board that are 3 costs, you just instantly killed off their Tamers, which can really help out. Or especially if you kill off a 2 cost and a 4 cost, boom, you're instantly in an advantage that now they might not have their memory resetter, and they might not have that Mimi or Izzy or all these other 2 drops or even mats, stuff like that just were helping them gain advantage. Now they're out of that. And then all turns, once per turn, when your opponent's Digimon are deleted, you may unsuspend this Digimon, allowing him to attack at least twice. Especially with cards that allow us to have Pierce, we can swing into their Digimon, kill it off, restand, swing again. Especially because we are half red, Tie works extremely well with this card. You have other cards that just extremely well rounded. Even the Greymon that checks an extra security check. Now this is 2 to 3 extra security on your opponent, which in my opinion is really nasty. It just gave a different way of play style. He plays very fluently. I really love Black War Greymon. It's just a very powerful synergistic deck that we will see play even going into the future of the formats, just because of how powerful this card is. I mean, being able to pop Digimon that adds up to a total of 6 or less. That means champions usually die here, or you're just killing off Tamers with the hybrid matchups, which I really do like. Next, we do want to talk about Yuji Musha. I think it's pronounced Yuji. I'm going to butcher this. You guys can tell me if I'm going to have a better enunciation. But this card really changed up X Antibody, giving them the out they needed in a way of synergization. Because when your Digimon with X Antibody Insight moves from the breeding area to battle area, gain 1 memory, trigger draw 1. So if you needed 4 memory, at least now you have the way to get to 4 memory, or if you needed extra memory, at least you have a way of digging a little deeper and gaining a little bit more memory, and it doesn't punish you for bringing an X antibody out early. So I mean, being able to have that, but your turn, when your black Digimon with X antibody in its types attacks, you may suspend this tamer to add 1 card with X antibodies from your hand under that Digimon as its bottom Digi-evolution. So we have a lot of cards that really do help out. I mean, Alphamon really got a boost with this card, and it's not even funny. This card just helps so much because now you can add a very important piece in the form of, what was it called? The Oriyumon, being able to allow your Alphamon to, you know, unsuspend itself. So because it's after the end of the attack, so Trump Sword doesn't activate with this or anything else because it has to wait till the end of the attack for him to unsuspend. So that means after all security is checked and done. So I think that's a really good synergization that just brought the deck into a new light and new power level. I mean, hopefully this is enough to keep the X antibody fans hugely invested. Next, I think Crimson Blaze is one of these amazing cards. So reduce the cost of this card in your hand by 1 for each Digimon your opponent has in play. So this card gets cheaper and cheaper and cheaper the wider their board is. But what's really nice is delete all your opponent's Digimon with 6,000 DP or less. Then your opponent can't play Digimon by effects until the end of your opponent's next turn. So no Kaiser Nails, no like Imperial Dramon, you know, from the trial deck that plops 2 out. Can't do that. So you can't like cheat in Digimon, which is really good because now that shuts off purple, stuff like that. Anything that's crazy. But being able to pop majority of the rookie base line, especially when they're just trying to wall up against you, this card becomes like a permanent side deck card for red that is just ridiculously strong. Even you can main it and you wouldn't have too much issue, because in that blue matchup where they're just going Madoki Beta, Starabis, stuff like that, while you're trying to, you know, set up, they're setting up, just try to stun you and stuff like that, you can just wipe out their board very easily. So I think this is really a great card, all in all, well-rounded. You know, I think it's great just because it's just a fantastic card. It just does what it needs to. It blows up board wipes for even less than most cards, because if they're at 3, this only costs you, they have 3 Digimon out, you kill all 3, that only costs you 3 to remove them. That's huge. Next, the final card that I think we should talk about is none other than Chimeramon. This card has DNA Digivolve for level 2 level 4s. Those become his stack, so being able to put them together is huge, because now what's even nastier is when Digivolving, you may place a 1 level 5 or lower Digimon card from your trash at the bottom of this Digimon, the evolution cards, and then up to 4 of your opponent's Digimon gets minus 1000 DP for each color this Digimon has until the end of your opponent's next turn. So the minus DP doesn't go away, which is huge, because not many decks can just say I minus DP, it's only just till the end of my turn, but this one's affecting your opponent's complete other turn. So now they're not the strongest Digimon anymore, they're weaker. So, and it's up to 4, so that means you could kill off most Digimon, because if you put at least 3 underneath there for color coordination, it's huge. Especially if you want to even talk about multicolors, this card could have up to 5 colors very easily, just because of how your deck is set up. I mean, your turn, this Digimon is also treated as the color of the cards in this Digi-evolution card. While this Digimon has 4 or more colors, it gains 4000 DP. Becomes even a 12k attacker. I mean, really very easy, especially since we're in a hybrid format. I mean, a multicolor format, which is insane just how well they rounded this off. I think Chimeramon's just a great addition, and I feel like we have so much more to talk about. So guys, what did you think about my top 5 list? Let me know down in the comments, and I'll catch you next video. Peace!